Hey, Sweat Sisters. Welcome to the Pretty Girl Sweat Show, which highlights women who are balancing demanding careers with a healthy lifestyle and hurdling over personal and professional obstacles. I'm your host, Aeshia DeVore Branch, and each week I have a sister-to-sister chat with an inspiring go-getter, and listeners learn how good things come to those who sweat. If this is your first time listening, what up? You could be anywhere in the world and you're here with me, and I really appreciate that. If you love what you hear, take a second to subscribe to the podcast so you get updates every time we drop a new episode. If you got half a second, leave a rating, which will help other Sweat Sisters in need of some inspiration find our podcast. If you have a minute, please follow us across all social media platforms. We are at Pretty Girl Sweat on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. Use the hashtag PrettyGirlSweat when sharing this episode. And if you have 5 minutes, please leave a review and let us know how we're doing. You're listening to episode 26 of the Pretty Girl Sweat Show. And today I'm chatting with Dr. Aisha Barron, a board-certified plastic reconstructive surgeon at Breast Body Beauty in Marietta, Georgia. Known as the Breast and Body Doc on Instagram and one of the few African-American female plastic surgeons in the United States, she offers cosmetic surgery for the breast, body, face, and skin. You may have also seen this beauty on the hit reality TV show Atlanta Plastic on Lifetime in 2015. But today, you're going to learn how she balances a busy career with a healthy lifestyle. Dr. Aisha Barron, welcome to the Pretty Girl Sweat Show.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's like really exciting for me to kind of get to know you on a deeper level with this convo. So I'm happy we're making this happen.
Yay, so am I.
All right. Well, we always like to start from the beginning. So if you could give us a little bit of a backstory on your upbringing, from your parents to whether or not you had siblings and how you grew up.
Okay, well, I am a direct descendant, I guess, first generation from Jamaican parents. So I consider myself.
I knew I liked you for a
Yeah.
reason.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you already heard?
Yes.
All right. Respect, right?
Exactly.
So I consider myself a Jamaican, firstborn Jamaican. So I was born here in the States, but both my parents are Jamaican. I was born in Boston, moved when I was, 3 to California, Southern California, and grew up there, spent my elementary school years in California, which was fun and everything. It's funny. We grew up in Simi Valley, California, which was like the safest city in the United States for like 5 or 6 years in a row in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
But it's also the home of the Rodney King trial
Oh,
and the Ronald Reagan Library. So,
wow.
how I grew up as a minority in my surroundings, I was the only melanated kid or little brown girl in my entire elementary school for
Wow.
like 5 years. And then we got another little chocolate drop somewhere. And, it's a little bit more diverse now. But after that, my parents divorced and I moved to Atlanta, which is now what I consider my home, and when I was about 12. And so I did junior high school and everything in Atlanta. But growing up, I have an older sister. She's about 3.5 years older than me. She is, my older inspiration, my number one supporter and
Aw.
everything. But, growing up, I had a great childhood, stable family life, sort of until the divorce. But,
But when you
um,
were in school, like in the predominantly white school, well, it was all white. You were the only
right,
black
right.
girl there. Did you fit in with your peers?
I did. And it's
Mm.
surprising, kind of when that's your only surroundings, I did fit in, I guess I was considered part of the little popular crew or whatever. But I think what's important also is that because of the way my father brought us up, we had a strong sense of self and who we were, what we were. I can't remember when he started drilling it into me that he was like, because you are black and a female or a girl, you're going to have to work twice as hard to even get any type of recognition, or to really even kind of stand out at all. He was like, you have two strikes against you as far as that's concerned, in this
Right.
world. Now, those are considered very positive strikes now, you know,
Mhm.
but we had a very strong sense of self. And so, I didn't take any crap when I was younger, being in being a minority in that environment. My parents, we were never
Okay.
big dessert eaters. Okay, just from coming from the islands, and I'm not sure if it was the same for you, but anytime after dinner or anything like that, like if we ever wanted something sweet,
Right.
it was a piece of fruit. We didn't have a lot of junk food or anything packed in our houses, and that's something that I
Mm.
actually try to translate to my kids. I don't have like fruit snacks, candy, cookies. I don't buy any of that stuff. And my kids, when they want a snack, they ask for, potentially like a low
Mhm.
sugar applesauce pouch. Or fruits. My she eats salad, everything nuts and all of that. So I think really kind of trying to curb, cravings and boredom, with healthy snacks as opposed to going for the easy go to sugary stuff is definitely something that I brought from my childhood and I'm utilizing in my household now.
Wow. Well, how about sports? Did you play any?
It's funny. I didn't really play any sports growing up, like on an
Yeah.
elementary school level. I did get into track and field in junior high and basketball. And so throughout high school, I did, what is it, basketball, track. And then my senior year, I actually did cross country. My dad would always take us to, ride bikes and everything. But I was never really in any organized sports as a young kid, just because my parents worked a lot. And so they couldn't really take us from here to there, but we always, were out riding bikes, doing kid things, playing until the streetlights came on, that type of thing.
Exactly. Well, tell us about your favorite coach in high school, like their name and maybe something that they told you or how they helped you on and off the court.
Right. I think one of my favorite coaches, I guess in high school, well, I guess it was Coach Watkins. He was my track and field coach. And even though he wasn't necessarily like the warmest guy, um, and the thing is that even in track, I wasn't the fastest, girl out there. But I think what I really appreciated about him was that he saw my work ethic. He kind of saw the focus and the drive I put behind it. And once I became an upperclassman, my junior and senior years, I was in charge of taking some of the younger girls on runs and, kind of helping to develop their workouts. And it was a real honor when he awarded me the coaches award my senior year. And that's really, normally that kind of goes to whoever's the fastest.
Mhm.
But he, he saw my work ethic, he saw the effort and everything I put into things, and that I was dedicated and really loyal to the team. And so I was given that award, which was really cool.
Oh, that's so special. That's incredible. Great. Okay. So then you made the decision to go to Spelman College. Why
Yeah.
Spelman? Why Spelman?
Spelman, because I, even coming from elementary school years, I went to Snow Mountain Junior High, which was kind of 50-50 initially, and then we moved again to a predominantly white institution for high school. And so when I came down to it, I was like, you know what, I just kind of don't want to worry if I'm gonna fit in.
Hmm.
I kind of want to be somewhere where I'm a little bit more comfortable, in my element, and I just wanted to try and see if that environment would be best for me and if I would thrive in it. Because I'd visited Spelman. My godmother was actually a former dean of students there.
Okay.
And so I was like, let me see what this is going to be. And I ended up choosing it because I was like, I just don't want any, I don't want to be in any minority majority environments for the time being. Kind of want to just bask in, the greatness of being a Black woman. And I thought that Spelman would give that to me. And it certainly did, like 10 times
Oh,
over.
that's
It was one of the best decisions of my life.
mm. Okay. And when you walked on campus as a freshman, what did you hope to get out of the experience? I mean, even when it came to your major and your
Mhm.
future career.
Yeah, I really just I wanted to thrive. I wanted to, of course, get smarter, kind of figure out the path in life. I'd also been drilled in my head by my parents, I think, that I was going to be a doctor. you know.
Uh,
So, I was a bio major and kind of stayed on that path, bio pre-med. And when I walked into Spelman, I just wanted a strong sense of sisterhood. I had an older sister, and we were close at the time, but we had a little bit of an age gap. So I was just trying to really kind of figure out, how much more depth there were to other girls who were potentially like me or not me,
Mhm.
and not like me. And I really saw that. I saw that there's so much diversity, so many different types of backgrounds and upbringings of different Black women. And it was amazing, getting to know just so many different people. I've met my best friends. I've met, basically acquired new sisters
Mhm.
who aren't blood, just from the Spelman sisterhood. And then, additionally, on top of that, I pledged our sorority,
Yay.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated,
Best friend.
and I gained a whole entire new set of sisters.
Exactly.
And so, I think I got everything that I needed to get out of Spelman, and I got a great education on top of it.
Yes.
Great education, great life experiences, really equipped me to approach the rest of my life in a positive way. So I mean, every penny was worth it.
Right. Well, it seems like, growing your sisterhood through the sorority and having a pretty robust social life, how did that impact your collegiate career or even your professional journey? Was it like during school, was it super positive? Were there any distractions that got in the way? And when I'm saying like social life, I also mean dating. So, like, so how did that
Right.
affect your life during that time?
As far it really didn't, I don't think. I've always been pretty focused on my goal. One thing that I kind of pride myself on is that even, in college, I didn't really have a boyfriend until around, I think, around my junior year. And that was, for a short period of time. I just kind of dated. I just don't need to be necessarily tied down to one person. People get to college and get booed up, so to speak,
Yeah.
or snatched by somebody, and they're kind of locked down into that one person, which may not necessarily be a bad thing, but I kind of I didn't really want to be just tied to one particular person. I kind of wanted to, do my thing and, be able to focus on school so that, all of my attention wasn't wrapped up into another person as well.
Hmm.
But I think being involved in sorority life or even just college life, I don't think it had a significant effect on dating, or anything like that. One of the good things, Morehouse was right across the way. So it's like, people say, oh, you went to all girls school, but the all boys school is right across the street,
Right.
and then there was a park right next door. So yeah, I think being in the AU Center was just such a rich experience. Not just from dating, but social activity, like doing so much. There were always concerts, there were always, things to go to. And so, yeah, they can provide a distraction if you let them.
Yeah.
But I think the overall arching, theme is okay, you're here to go to school to have these goals in mind, in order to become a doctor. And so that's what consistently replayed in my head, anytime, and there were times that, yes, I did get distracted, but I then also had to pull myself up because those loans were all in my name,
Oh,
not in my
yeah.
parents' name or anything like that. So I knew I had to repay them. And so I had to get what I needed to get out of all of
Oh,
that.
that is so good. And that's why I'm making my kids like either they have to get a scholarship or pay because that's how you stay focused. When it's mommy and daddy's money, it's like, not as serious. So you just proved
Yeah,
my point.
and I'm a little conflicted about that, and so the thing is that yes, I have a 529 fund and everything
Yep.
started for my kids. And yes, I want them to get the sense of, hey, you're invested into this,
Yes.
but then a lot of others, they get, their college and stuff paid for. I don't necessarily want my kids starting off with the amount of debt that I have either, so it's kind of like a catch, or maybe you supplement a certain amount and
Right.
then they have at least the $1,000 or $2,000 loan they got to pay back.
Exactly. I'm all for the 529 too. I'm like, I'll pay off your loan. I'm like, but I want you to
Right.
make sure that you stay focused and you graduate, or you just get a
Exactly.
scholarship and no one has to pay anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, there may be a young student out there who's listening and they're like, "Wow, I'm so inspired by this woman. I want to become a doctor someday, but it just seems like it's so far out of my reach. It's just too hard." Are there any hacks or time management tips that you could share with them that can let them know, like, hey, if you do this, it may be a little bit more manageable?
Right. So, health careers, science based fields, kind of all those paths can potentially lead to medicine. And really, anytime you're pre med, you can major in whatever you want in college and things like that. But when it comes to pre med, you're always going to have a strong science background. And so I always gravitated towards science in high school, and in college and everything. And so I think really having a strong science background, and kind of immersing yourself or being at least exposed to those things really helps. And I also did a little bit of part time reception in a doctor's office when I was in high school. So it kind of exposed me to the field a little bit. So I think surrounding yourself or doing a summer program or trying to shadow your primary care physician or your pediatrician or whoever, to kind of see if that's even the field that you want to go into or if you can potentially do that or potentially try to talk to people in those fields. I never stepped foot in an OR until I was in medical school.
Mm.
So I didn't necessarily know that I wanted to be a plastic surgeon at that time. I really thought I was going to be a OBGYN.
Wow.
I just kind of had this idea in my head. But I think surrounding yourself with the in those environments or just giving yourself some amount of exposure. And I know that may be a hard or seemingly unattainable for some people, but it may start by, whenever you just go to your checkups, asking your doctor questions, asking your dentist questions. How did you do it? What do you think you would have done differently, growing up or if you were my age? I think those are things that are important to really kind of get the ball rolling and really kind of get those creative juices flowing. But the thing is that there's so much information available at our fingertips with the internet and, social media and all those types of things. So really starting by Googling things,
Right.
start getting the right information out there, and kind of seeing, oh, you could YouTube surgeries and see, oh, is this something that I might really want to do? As far as time management goes, sometimes you just have to set a schedule when it comes to studying. I had a really strict schedule when I was studying for my boards and everything like that.
What
But
was it? What was your schedule? Do you
it was like, or when I was studying for the
Mhm.
boards, I had done like a Kaplan course, and I would study and read in the morning, like the review books, probably from like 8 to 12. I would break and have lunch, but every hour I would do 50-minute blocks, and then I'd break for 10 minutes,
Okay.
give my mind a little bit of a rest, and then go back for that next session. And then in the afternoon, I would do questions. I would do questions, review the questions, figure out why I got them wrong or right. And then, I'd have dinner. And then in the evening, do just a few more practice tests. And then I'd go to bed at a decent hour, like 9 o'clock,
Oh, wow. How
9
long
o'clock,
did you
10
do
o'clock
that process for? Like,
for about 3.5 weeks
okay.
prior to like my step one, which was in medical
Oh,
school.
wow.
So I think it's important to be regimented. And I was dating, I was actually dating my husband at the
Okay.
time. And I told him, I was like, I am unavailable for the next like 4 weeks until I take this test. I don't need to see you. I don't need to do anything. Like, I don't ask me to do anything because this is what I need to do. And so you kind of have to make sacrifices, when it comes down to
That
it. And
probably made him love
people
you
will understand.
even more.
What you
That
say?
probably made him love you even more. He was like, "Ooh, she's so
Yeah, he always
focused."
said that he loves the fact that I'm very focused
Yes.
and driven. Sometimes to a fault, but yeah, it's like you got to get your stuff done. You have to do what it takes in order to realize your dream, and nobody's going to do it for you.
Right.
Nobody mapped out the path for me. I kind of had to make my own path because really at Meharry, where I went to medical school, the it's mainly primary care based. And so once I decided I wanted to do plastic surgery, I kind of had to make my own path and start doing rotations over at Vanderbilt and really kind of figure out what do I have to do in order to become a plastic surgeon. I organized my own away rotations and that type of thing. And so I feel like in the younger generations kind of coming up right now, they want a lot of information handed to them, and they kind of say, okay, well, I want to do this, how do I do it? and they want it just completely mapped out, step, 1 to 5 or
Right.
whatever. And they don't want to do any of the research or kind of background work in order to figure out if that's even what you want to do or how to really even get there. And so I think real success stories are of people who really kind of had to grind
Mhm.
and make things happen for themselves. There's nothing wrong with having steps, but then you just have to kind of put the work behind it in order to make things come really happen for yourself.
Okay. Well, tell us about your very first job and what did you do to get your foot in the door?
My very first job, I was 14.
Okay.
Okay, started my first job at 14 because I wanted a phone in my room.
Didn't we
And
all? Oh my gosh,
yes,
didn't we all?
I wanted a phone. I can't remember, was it? Yeah, it was a phone because it wasn't. I didn't even have a TV in my room. I wanted a phone. Wanted to be able to talk on the phone with my friends. And my mom would not pay for one. She was like, "No, when you find your own money, then you can do that." So at 14, I got a job at McDonald's.
Okay.
McDonald's. My first job was at McDonald's. At the age of 14, you could only work a certain amount of hours a week anyway.
Yeah.
So I did, like 5 or 10 hours on the weekend. And then I kind of graduated up. I pride myself on being the queen of the drive-through. I was, very skilled with the headset, and I was on the drive-through for a while, and that was my thing. That was my thing. I eventually moved on and went to work at the Finish Line at North Lake Mall while I was in high school. But yeah, my first job was Mickey
Oh,
D's.
wow. We had a similar path. My
Yeah.
first job was in food too at Pretzel Time. I don't know if you've ever
Oh, yes,
And then my
yes.
second job was at a shoe store called Just for Feet. So that is so funny.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, similar kind of evolution, right?
Exactly. All right. And then, okay, so you graduate from college. What would you say was probably the biggest risk you ever took for your career?
Oh, biggest risk. Really, I guess most, and I don't consider myself very risky. Oh well, I guess at that age, not much. There was not much risk involved. When going from college to medical school, not a lot of risk except for social risks. Missing out on weddings, missing out on family events or birthdays and things like that. That's kind of what you have to sacrifice in those early years. But I would say my biggest risk, in my career was leaving the practice that I started with, that I joined right out of residency, and going into business on my own. That was the biggest risk. I kind of wasn't sure. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but and I had a lot of doubt initially. But once I decided that the situation there wasn't ideal for me anymore, and I wasn't going to be able to grow and thrive in the way I wanted to, I decided, you know what? I know plenty of other people that have done it, have gone into business for themselves, have opened up their own practice, and they're still here and they're still in business. So why can't I do it too? And so I made that leap, and it has paid over dividends. Like it was probably the wisest decision that I made of 2016.
Wow. Did you have any
And I'm
mentors that like helped guide you during that process?
Um, uh, n- s- Mentors, so to speak. A lot of my former attendings, I talked to them, and I talked to a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends from residency, who were either a couple years out or the same year out for me. Really just talking to them and kind of feeling things out and really kind of doing trial by fire.
Right.
I think really having good sounding boards professionally was very helpful in kind of trying to figure out a lot of the unknowns that go into opening up your own medical practice. Just because there's so many things that you're not taught in medical school or residency, about business, about medicine as a business.
Okay.
And so, a lot of things are really just flying by the seat of your
Yeah.
pants. I mean, there's general like, okay, yes, open up a business, get a license, get this and that, but when it comes to the logistics, some of it is just really finding it out as it comes.
Hmm.
And I think that's with almost any business owner. So I think really having good people around you who are willing to share. I think sometimes we can put ourselves in spaces in which people don't necessarily want to share the secrets to their
Mm.
success or things that help them out. And I've never really liked that. I think, it's just like taking a test. Okay. Everybody has the same book. You have the same materials to study from. Some people are going to get A's, some people are going to get B's, some people are going to fail. But who am I to, if I, prevent you from having the book or an additional supplement for the test? What good does that do to me? It's not going to affect my score.
Right.
So I am of the thought of, kind of surrounding yourself with people who are willing to share and exchange information so that all of us can be successful. There's enough to go around for everybody. So I think that's an important kind of life lesson that I learned, even starting my business, is that the people around me were really helpful, and I've paid it back the same. Sometimes I just get on a call with some of my plastic surgery friends or other colleagues, and we just kind of just swap ideas on devices we've used, or how we've managed employees, and things like that, and it's been very, very helpful.
Hmm. Great advice. Okay. We're going into our rapid fire portion of this
Oh,
interview. You have to answer these questions in one word.
okay.
The pressure is on.
Pressure, pressure. Yes.
Okay. So, question number one. What is one thing you do every morning that makes you happy?
Oh, one thing. Okay. I, I can't really say no one word. Look at my kids.
Okay. That's good. That's fine. Okay. Favorite book?
Oh, I don't do any leisure reading. So pitiful right now. Um, oh gosh, yeah, I can't even answer that right now. It's actually pretty pathetic because I have not finished a book in years.
That is okay.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry. Next question.
You have to join our book club.
Yes, I know, but I tried to start a book club up with some of my friends,
Yeah.
and we failed miserably because life caught up with us. Like, we would get, like, halfway through the book and say, "Okay, let's go drink some wine."
Exactly, that's us too. Our book club is really just to go have brunch together, but, um
Okay, hey, I'm down for
exactly.
it.
Okay, so how often how many hours a night do you sleep?
7.
Okay. What is one way that you make fitness fun?
Do it.
How often do you work out per week?
2 days a week,
Okay.
2.
And what's your favorite workout?
Oh gosh, well, maybe, I guess, just one exercise, I guess. I guess just running.
Okay.
Running, yeah.
What's one thing that's always in your gym bag?
Water,
Okay. What can make or break your workout?
time.
Hmm. A song that is always on your workout playlist.
Oh, this one is always on my workout playlist now. Oh gosh, what is it? Everybody Mad by, is it OT
Oh,
Genesis?
yeah. I love that
Yeah,
song
or is
too.
that OT Genesis?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Everybody Mad. Oh my gosh. I ran the Peachtree Road Race with some friends, and I had that like 4 times sprinkled through the playlist. Like, it got me up cardiac hill.
Yes, that's so awesome. Okay, what do you think your life would be like right now if you never worked out?
Sad.
Yes. Okay.
Very
What
sad.
is one thing you eat before a workout, if anything?
Probably banana.
Okay, and what about after a workout?
Um, Probably a banana. No, no. Either like a some type of protein bar.
Okay, what's your favorite cheat day meal?
Mm. Oh gosh, probably like something with like some macaroni and
Oh,
cheese,
yeah.
uh, fish taco, something, and a beer.
Ooh, that sounds good. Okay. Say if you had a flight, you get all the way to the airport and you realize you left your favorite beauty product at home and you love this so much you would go all the way back home to get it. What would that be?
Shea butter.
Yes. Okay. And what about deodorant? What's your go-to brand?
Um, Secret, but I had an issue after I had my son in which I was like temporarily allergic to it, and it
Really?
really broke my heart. I was itching like crazy, and so then I tried to try every single type of organic natural brand, and it just didn't do it. And then lo and behold, one day I was just like, I'm just gonna try it.
Oh,
I'm just gonna try it, and I'm back to Secret.
oh, that's good. It's good. Secret's great. Okay, so we're done with our rapid fire questions, and I have another question for you though. When
Uh-huh.
you hear the words "pretty girls sweat," what do they mean to you?
I think that pretty girl sweat means working out is doesn't have to be pretentious. It doesn't have it's kind of for everybody, to where people, you don't want people to see you as, okay, well, that person, she doesn't do that, she seems too put together or too prim and proper or anything like that. Or I think it kind of challenges the notion of who's supposed to be able to work out or to sweat or to kind of let their hair down. So it kind of, to me, that title is a little bit about you know removing inhibitions, and really kind of getting down to your goals, and having a healthy lifestyle while still looking good.
Well said. Well said. And what is next for you?
Next for me is continuing to build my brand, continuing to expand my practice, expand my scope, working on a few things, like a YouTube series, to kind of really bring some of the show factors back to the people who like to see me on TV. Because, as you know, I was on Atlanta Plastic on Lifetime for a couple of years, and it was a really fun experience. And so I think I'd like to, give that back to the public. People are always asking me, when is it coming back? When is it coming back? Because I think it was a really good show. But, like I say, I don't think we were drama filled enough
Mhm.
for the network.
Right.
But aside from that, developing my own garment line, skincare line, and not like just facial skincare, really more like body skincare,
Love.
since I'm known as the breast and body
Yes.
doc. And, just really continuing to raise my family and enjoy them, because it's hard to balance things when you get to be really really busy and really kind of feel like you're being the best mom and wife that you can be. It's a struggle every day, but I think I'm doing pretty well at it.
Mhm. You sure are. You sure are. And if you could leave a lasting message for the audience, one important thing that you want to share with them, what would that be?
I think I've probably said a few of the important things that I think are really important to me.
Well, in
But I
relation
think,
to like what you do, like in plastic surgery, because I know there's a stigma around it. So
yeah,
what would you
I
say?
think really, going back to what we started with, having a strong sense of self and who you are, not letting anybody else define that for you. And I think, it's kind of like what the title of Pretty Girl Sweat is. It's, you have one idea of what a pretty girl or whoever that is and what they're allowed to do, or, whatever. But I think really kind of knowing who you are, and what you want to do in life, and even if that isn't grand aspirations by whoever's definition, really being happy in your skin and how you're living your life. I think a lot of people come and see me because they're unhappy with a certain aspect of their appearance, or how they feel about themselves. But the people who are the best candidates for surgery are the ones who may not like a thing here or there, but they still know
Mm.
who they are. They still know that whatever surgery I perform, it isn't going to affect who they truly are on the inside. Now, it may help to bring out, a little bit more confidence, or, a greater sense of, their femininity or sexuality. They may feel better in clothes, which can help them in other ways. But I think having a solid foundation of, who you are, and really being rooted in your goals and kind of what your overall purpose in life is, really is what it's all about, and really will help you to kind of figure things out in the long run, and not compromise your goals or your aspirations for anything else.
And that's Aisha Barron. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at breast and body doc, and also on Facebook at Breast Body Beauty, and on Twitter at breast letter N body doc. You can also visit her website, breastbodybeauty.com, to learn all about the services her company offers. Join us on Saturday, September 14th for the 3rd annual Pretty Girl Sweat Fest Atlanta. Grab your squad for the ultimate Sweat Sisterhood Fitness Festival. Register to receive exclusive access to elite trainers, because with heart-pumping workouts coupled with the dopest female DJs, you'll get a first-class ticket to your favorite fitness trends and hit songs. When you're not sweating it out, you can rehydrate at our sip stations, refuel in our Savor Garden filled with deliciously healthy food trucks, refresh in our Style Lounge, and shop in our vendor village. Head on over to prettygirlsweat.com/PGSF to get your tickets today before they're gone. Just one more thing before you take off. Do you want to get a short email from Pretty Girl Sweat every Monday and Friday that serves as a daily dose of all things inspiring and allows you priority access to our upcoming events? Just go to prettygirlsweat.com. That's prettygirls with an S, sweat.com. Drop in your email and you'll get the very next one. And if you sign up, you'll soon discover that there's no hood like sisterhood. Until next time, always remember that good things come to those who sweat.